If I were to start my social media management business from scratch again, this is what I would do. Hi, hello, welcome to the Estelia channel. I'm your host, Rosie, and here we talk about all things business and marketing. The juicy question for today is, how do I become a social media manager? And so many people in my personal life and people online always want to know the answer to this. Let's get into it. I just want to preface that I know a lot of people get into this business because they think it's easy money, then just quit. The problem isn't that the business itself or what you do is extremely difficult, but it's the fact that you come into the mindset of, oh, I'm going to do this because I'm going to be rich and the money comes quick. And I feel like with any sort of business pursuit that you go into, you've got to at least enjoy the process of doing it. A lot of people don't actually understand what this business entails. I guess I didn't really understand it either in the beginning, which is totally normal. Today, I'm going to break it down for you so you actually know how to start this business and what it involves. I want to start off this video by talking about why you should become a social media manager. I have a personal story for this. When I first finished high school, I was around 18 years old and I was working full-time in a corporate business. I was studying my business degree full-time as well. And I love working, which sounds crazy, but I genuinely enjoyed doing what I did. But it kind of got to a point where I was like, I feel so exhausted. Little young me didn't understand what burnout was, but it got to a point where I was hustling and grinding. And I feel like back then hustle culture was extremely respected. And I feel like it is still kind of respected as well. But I was craving a bit more flexibility, and it wasn't, I'm looking for flexibility where I can work anytime. I don't think I was thinking that high level yet. I was more thinking, I feel so behind in my life in the sense where I'm not on top of my errands. There's so many blood tests, doctor appointments, and dentist appointments I'm missing because I'm just so busy working. The main reason why I've always wanted to own my own business, and especially a digital one, was because I just feel like I wanted to work, earn an income, which is very important. I just wanted that flexibility where I could just block out my morning, book my appointments there so I can run my errands as well. Australia Post operates Monday to Saturday, but that Saturday is only open for a few hours and that's when I get my sleep in. Anyways, it's enough tangent. I don't want to be stuck in a 9 to 5 forever. I know everyone says that cliche, but this business actually can afford that lifestyle for you. I would say it's one of the easiest ways to start earning an income online. And you don't need expensive equipment. You can literally just start with your phone and a laptop because there would be a lot of admin involved in this. You don't need a degree as well, which is why I feel like it's one of the best entry-level online businesses to start. And most businesses will need marketing and social media marketers as well. What does that mean? It means that there is a demand for this profession. Most businesses also need to promote their businesses and market themselves. I wouldn't say that there's a lack of demand. In fact, there's actually an opposite. There is a high demand for this role. If you become a skilled social media manager, you can definitely scale this into an agency. What I've learned as a social media manager is that there's strategy behind everything. You're learning how people think, what makes them want to buy something, and how to make them stay on your channel as well. It's not just about posting silly little videos, aesthetic shots, and just being a content creator. There's a lot of psychology that goes behind this as well. Let's do a quick recap on what a social media manager actually does. I have a full video on this, which I will link below. In a quick short summary, a social media manager will manage a company's social presence depending on what platforms they're on. Let's say LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and speak within their tone of voice. And a lot of clients think that you're just playing on your phone. I promise it's so much more than that. There's so much strategy. You've got to understand who the business is talking to, who their actual audience is. You're not just posting as if you're a Gen Z person on a business account if they're very corporate. As a social media manager, you're strategizing the content that you're going to be posting on their channel and why you're posting this sort of content as well. Everything that you post on social media, the social media manager has intention behind it. You're also doing analytics, looking at what works, what doesn't work, and how you can improve. People underestimate the amount of thinking that this role has. If you're just posting, you're extremely replaceable. If there's a lot of intention and strategy behind what you're doing, then you become extremely valuable to the businesses that you're serving. Let me talk about what a social media manager isn't as well. before we get into the nitty gritty, you're not just a content creator. You're not just posting little silly videos. You're not posting aesthetic cute videos, aesthetic pictures, and you're not there to just stand and look pretty. You're not a videographer or a graphic designer unless you agreed to complete those deliverables. And you are not responsible for sales unless there is strategy or budget. A lot of clients will hire this one person as a social media manager and assume that they would run a whole sales team and a whole marketing cohort in a one-person role, which is absolutely absurd. Just remember that you are not responsible for sales. Let's say if their website is terrible and not actually working properly, that is not your responsibility. You definitely should flag it with the business owner, but if the whole marketing channel is not up to scratch, that is not on you. You are definitely not a social media manager because a client just wants to go viral, and you are not growing a brand without setting boundaries. This is how you will burn out. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's go into step one. First thing you need to do is learn the basics. Before you think about taking on any clients, please learn all of the platforms that you want to work on and learn how they work. What is an algorithm? How does an algorithm work? What do consumers on this platform like to watch? And how can I implement this with my client's content strategy? It's very important to learn about your platforms, how they operate, what people's intentions are on there, and how you can best serve your client, because I wouldn't want to work with a social media manager that was just posting for the fun of it. How are you going to do this? The first thing you're going to do is scroll on TikTok. You're not brain rotting here. What you're going to do is scroll through and pay attention to how people create content. Look at how businesses are actually speaking to their audience. A lot of social media managers, you notice that they have a niche. They will make a lot of content on how will a nail salon get more clients. If I was a nail salon owner, this is what I would do. Or they would make content like, if I owned a pet store, these are 3 types of content I would post. Take a look at businesses online and how they create content and take notes on that. You'll notice that a lot of the content on TikTok and Instagram are quite different, and people react differently on the platforms as well. Think about TikTok, where people are just there because they've had a long day, they're tired, and they're wanting to brain rot, which is why a lot of TikTok content, you need to hook them in the first few seconds, which is quite similar to Reels. Instagram is a very nurturing type of platform where people are there because they want to support you as a creator. TikTok people, it takes a longer time to warm up to them, because it's like, oh, I followed them because I just saw something funny. But it's like, you can build relationships. I'm not saying you can't, but it's a different type of relationship. People on Instagram are more intentional with who they follow. Other ways I would recommend to learn the basics is literally do free courses online. There are so many, and Google offer them as well. So I did a few of the Google Fundamentals for digital marketing. You can look at, I think there's HubSpot ones as well. They're pretty good. And Udemy has a few paid ones, but they're pretty affordable. Understanding the platform is important because you are going to create content for a certain audience, and just knowing if this is who I'm talking to, how do I create content that would be enticing for them? How can I speak to them through my client's content, which is what you should always be thinking. It's important to also note that you don't have to know everything. I don't think anyone in this industry knows everything because social media changes all the time. It's important to get the basics in and have a solid understanding, but you really do need to understand how the platforms work. Step number 2, if I were to restart this again, I would pick a niche. Honestly, I started off with no niche, and I'm not saying you can't. But when you start off with a niche, it is so much easier to find clients. Why? Because you know who you're speaking to. A lot of the content you create would be more tailored towards your target audience. I would create videos on how to grow your platforms or X business. I would pick a niche that I genuinely enjoy talking about and working with. For example, a lot of the agencies that I've worked with in Melbourne, they are all about food and restaurants. There are actually a few agencies that only work with Asian restaurants, which is very niche. Even if you could niche down, say you love Southeast Asian food, so Indian cuisine is delicious, and you're thinking, I want to target that area, definitely look into that. And at the end of the day, the reason why you should pick a niche is because it makes making content and speaking to your audience and finding your ideal client so much easier. And it also takes the guesswork out of all of the content that you're going to create. Now let's talk about step 3. This is where you're going to build your business's page. And I feel like this is the part where people tend to neglect the most, but this is so important because this is your portfolio. Why would clients hire you if they don't know what you can offer or what you bring to the table. Let's say hiring a potential employee, they have a resume. Your business's social media page works like a resume. And I talk about this all the time. You don't need clients to start. You don't need experience. You create your own experience. Use whatever you have at home. You've got a phone, you've got products, and literally as a social media manager, if you want to create mock-up strategies, you've got Canva to do that all for you. Having content on your social media page can also help with building trust, and it makes your page look more credible. Now let's talk about the fourth step, creating a simple offer. As beginners, let's not overcomplicate this. And it's also important for me to note that before you start working on your clients' socials, please have a strategy. Work with them first on creating that strategy, refining it, and agreeing, I like this strategy, let's go ahead with it. It's like your roadmap. Say you're going to a new location and you've never been there before and you're going there without your GPS. How are you going to know where to go? Exactly the same with social media management. The offers can always change. What you started off with isn't going to be something that you're going to end up with and love doing. There's going to be tweaks and changes along the way, and that's completely fine. You don't need 10 packages. You don't need a full website. You might not even need a website at all. I still to this day don't even have a website for my business. A lot of people reached out to me just on my social media page or my email. You can start simple with 3-tier packages, which is what I started doing. Let's say a basics, something more intermediate, and a full on package, and definitely have add-ons as well. A simple package would kind of look like 2 edited reels that you're going to schedule and no community management. Then an intermediate one could be 2 to 3 posts a month, and you've got a little bit of community engagement in there as well. And depending on how you want to structure your services, it could be 4 hours of filming. It really just depends. These are just a skeleton example that I'm just giving right now. But a full package could have 5 edited reels in a month. And then you've got, let's say, 10 hours a week of community engagement, which is a lot. 10 hours a month of content creation. It really depends on how you want to do all of this. Obviously, these are just skeletons. Once you start working with the client, it would be more personalized because let's say I just mentioned reels. They could want 1 carousel a week as well. Your pricing and all of that, of course, change, but I will put an example image on the screen so you can pause, take a screenshot, and just have a look at how you could potentially structure your offer. I personally don't like working on packages because every single client has very different needs. And as a person who has a background in admin, I know there's a lot of admin that's missing on the side. So I like to do things quite differently, but I know 90% of people I talk to love packages because they're a lot more structured and they know what to do. But I feel like with me, I don't mind going a bit rogue and doing something a bit different, which is why the example packages I talk about sound a bit off compared to what other people would offer. I personally, with the social media management clients that I have, it's quite end-to-end full service. I would do content shoots there. I would literally do everything, including graphic design from A to Z. It's harder for me to give examples because I operate differently, but I guess I just love doing that whole full service. But when you're starting off, I would probably stray away from that because it is a lot to take on, especially in the beginning when you don't have a team. Step 5, let's talk about finding clients. This one, very scary. I understand. I have a full video on this, which I will link down below as well. But it's an important one because without clients, you don't have a business. You don't need a huge portfolio. You don't need anything crazy. You just need to show them the highlights of your work. You need to show proof that you can deliver results and that you can perform X, Y, and Z. Let's say you're offering video editing services, but you don't have anything to show for that. It's a lot harder to land a client. Make sure you're putting in the reps. You're learning how to create content. You're learning how to edit. You're learning how to do basic Canva graphics and posting them. If you don't want to post it on your socials, definitely create a Canva portfolio. Once you're pitching to the client, you actually have proof that you can do the certain skills that you say you have. There are so many ways that you can find clients online. There's inbound, they reach out to you because they saw you through your content. Outbound, so you're reaching out to them, you're emailing them, DMing them. And something I really want to talk about before you start that business, this is step 6, setting boundaries. I really wish someone emphasized this when I first started my business because I was taking low baller offers left, right, and center and getting paid like peanuts for the amount of work that I was doing. And looking back, I regret that. I feel like maybe I had to go through that to learn. But if someone had only told me to respect my time and to never take a lowball offer again, I feel like I probably would have taken that more seriously. Even just saying to the clients and just letting them know in your contract or once you start onboarding them, these are my working hours. This is when I'm contactable. If you don't set boundaries with the clients, they just expect everything. Make sure you're clear on what you do, clear on what you don't do. You are not there to do 10 roles in one. You are there to provide a service, and just remember they are not your boss. You are working together. The earlier you set this, the easier everything will be. Social media management is not about just posting online and being a content creator. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of strategy, but it is definitely a career that can provide a life of flexibility, and it's something I really enjoy doing. There's so much more psychology and thought behind a lot of the posts that you see online. If this sounds like something that you're definitely interested in doing, then make sure you stick around because I'm actually going to be posting another video more in depth on how to become a social media manager in 30 days with actionable tips. Make sure you watch out for that one. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.